In front of me I have the POCO M4 Pro, and I would normally say that this is a brand new phone. Let's be honest, it's been released a month ago, so it's not necessarily like the newest one, but in terms of being packaged it is. So yeah, let's just jump straight to it. I'm gonna go over unboxing along with a quick overview of the features of this device and just the price tag. So just pop it open. There we go. Eat that to the side and let's pop it open. So, POCO, not much here. I'm pretty sure there's a case in here. It's Xiaomi, so yep, there we go, there's a case. We also have some stickers if you want to slap those anywhere, like bam, in here. Paperwork, I'll just eat that to the side. Here we get a nice case, clear one, fully clear. Let's take out the phone. Oh wow, we actually get a charger for this. Holy crap, that's actually nice. Now before I go into the charger, cable right here, it's Type C to Type A. And the charger is also nothing to scoff about. It's a 33 watt charger, which you can see right over here. So damn, that's actually really nice. To be honest, surprised. I wasn't even expecting a charger, and especially in this price, not a 33 watt charger. Samsung. So yeah. So let's power it on. So while it's turning on, I'm going to quickly go over the display right here. So this is an IPS LCD display with a 1080p by 2400 resolution, 6.6 inch display, 90 Hz refresh rate, and a typical brightness of about 450 nits. So to be fair, this is fairly mediocre, nothing really special here. At the back, if we look right now, as you can see, we have a, double camera setup. What the heck is this? Yeah, it looks like a double camera setup, but for some reason it has way more circles than it needs. So we have circle for AI. There's nothing underneath here. We have circle for whatever the heck this is. It might look like an LED notification, but I'm just guessing. We got a camera, we got a flash, and then we got another camera. So technically we only have 2 cameras, but for God's sakes, we got 5 different little circles to imitate cameras. Not sure why, it's just absolutely stupid. If you're planning to also put this amount of cameras at the back, for goodness sake, make it symmetrical so the phone don't wobble. So yeah, a little bit disappointed with this one, to be honest, in terms of the camera setup and overall the cameras, because in terms of the cameras we only have it is a 50 megapixel sensor, 8 megapixel ultra wide, and at the front we got a 16 megapixel wide. So yeah, it's a little bit underwhelming considering what we can see at the back. It looks like it actually tries to imitate the Mi 11 Ultra with this huge girth at the back, but it also had a display right here instead of a POCO logo. I just quickly finish this up. So, continuing with the actual phone, in terms of internals in here, we get a couple different versions in terms of RAM. We have 4 and 6 versions, and also with those we have 2 different storage versions. We have 64 gigabyte storage and also 128 gigabyte storage. Obviously, depending if you go for the lower one, you get also less RAM. With the 120, you get 6 gigs RAM. So yeah. And both of those boast a UFS 2.2 storage, so it should be good enough. This is a, I would say, mid-range device, approaching something like a budget, to be honest. It comes at around 260, 70 euros. So yeah, so it honestly, for the price, this seems to be doing okay. Now additionally, unlike I believe previous POCO phones, this is not running on Snapdragon. This is running on Dimensity 810 5G, and in terms of comparing it to, as an example, Snapdragon 888, just as a kick, this processor is basically being like, the Snapdragon is more than twice as fast as this thing. So this should give you a brief understanding maybe how good this is in comparison to the top flagship processor right now. So it's loading apps right now. Okay, so while this is loading up, so I'm going to continue with the actual internals. Here we have a 5,000 mAh battery with a 33-watt charger. This should be charging fairly quickly, which is really nice. They advertise that you can charge up to full, from basically full dead, in 59 minutes. So an hour to full charge. Not necessarily the fastest, but damn, for a phone that is at this price range, this is quite impressive, I would say. Okay, so now we actually get a look at the phone being set up, and oh my goodness, that was actually really slow. And this is also maxed brightness. This is a little bit underwhelming brightness, to be honest. It's right now maxed out, and even though I do have lights set up around here, it is dimmer than I usually record in. So, and yeah, the camera isn't being overexposed right now, or maybe just a bit, but yeah, this is not the brightest screen, so that's a little bit of a shame. Anyway, I'm gonna now see what kind of expandable storage we're looking at here. Something tells me it's none. Oh no, there we go. So we have a SD card and SIM card tray, so that's nice. And additionally, you can use 2 SIM cards instead if you want to. So we can expand the storage that's as well. So yeah, not much more to say about the specs of this device. In terms of the design, this one has this kind of matte finish. You can kind of see it on the camera. There is no bump right here, it's just all color. It's honestly, it doesn't really tickle my pickle. It's a little bit of a letdown. Usually the POCO phones looked a little bit better. This is plastic back. Looks like aluminum frame, fingerprint sensor on the side, and it just looks kind of cheap. Truth be told, it is not necessarily the most expensive device, coming at 260 euros, but I would expect a little bit more for the price, considering you can get a really good device from Google now, the new Pixels. Obviously they will be more expensive, but boy do they look way better than this, and they do something that I absolutely adore, which is put a camera that is long sideways in the middle so your phone don't wobble. I don't know why every company doesn't do this. Laying your phone flat and not having it wobble when you're trying to interact with the screen when it's laying flat. It's kind of annoying when it does this, but when it's laying flat and doesn't actually wobble, ooh, that is so good. So yeah, not much more to say about this. It's a mid-range not flagship, what am I saying? It's a mid-range phone, close to budget, to be honest. It performs as you would expect. It has 90 Hz refresh rate, so that is one of the good things. Though I believe even POCO themselves make a better version of this, a little bit outdated, but still, I believe it might be more powerful than this. I would need to check, because they were still running on Snapdragons and they were a little bit higher spec than this. This is the budget version of POCO, which kind of defeats the brand, to be honest. It's having a little bit of a identity crisis, because from what I remember, the POCO brand was kind of like a flagship killer on a budget, similar to what OnePlus tried to do, but they switched. This was, I guess, the continuation from a different company, being a really decent phone for a really good price. Now, they weren't absolutely flagships with the top specs, but they were doing really well. And this seems like a budget version of this, making the entire brand of POCO kind of useless in my opinion. So yeah. So at the end of the day, considering the older POCOs were might have been a little bit more powerful, you might want to look into that though. Don't take my word on it. I'm just kind of assuming right now. They usually would cost more, but considering they are right now like a year outdated probably, they might be at about the same price for better performance. So I do recommend you to look into that one instead, and just make sure that that is not the case. But other than that, it's just a mediocre phone. That's basically as good as I can describe it. So anyway, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.